Warning. True power doesn't flash, it doesn't roar, it doesn't seek applause. It simply is. From ancient thinkers like Lao Tzu to modern tacticians like Carl Jung, history has whispered the same truth over and over. Power thrives in the quiet. Not in the loudest voice, not in the busiest room, but in stillness, in pause, in deliberate restraint. There's a kind of control that doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need to. This kind of control is not accidental, it's intentional. It's not about dominance through noise, but influence through silence. So let me ask you, when was the last time you chose to say nothing on purpose? Not out of fear, not from doubt, but from wisdom. We're taught to express, to react, to post, to argue, to defend. But rarely are we taught to observe. Rarely are we taught the weight of a well-timed silence. The science of quiet strength. Silence isn't the absence of action. It's an action in itself. One of the most calculated, potent, and misunderstood moves on the chessboard of life. Great minds didn't just speak wisely. They also withheld wisely. They knew what is not said can echo louder than what is. Consider this. In a world overflowing with information, noise becomes the default. Everyone is talking, few are thinking. That's why those who embrace silence stand out. They don't rush, they observe, they listen. Not because they lack confidence, but because they possess it. Imagine walking into a negotiation. One side is frantic, over-explaining. The other side, calm, reserved, quiet. Who do you trust more? Who holds the real power in that room? Why we fear silence? Let's be honest. Most people are afraid of silence. It makes them uncomfortable. Why? Because silence reflects. It holds up a mirror to the self. And for many, that mirror is hard to look at. Noise is a distraction, a disguise. We fill the space with sound, so we don't have to deal with what lies beneath it. But silence. Silence forces awareness, and with awareness comes responsibility. Responsibility for our emotions, our words, our intentions. True power isn't about having control over others. It begins with control over yourself, and nothing exposes self-control like silence. The warrior who waits. Picture a warrior, not one who charges blindly into battle, but one who watches from the ridge, calculating, waiting. To the untrained eye, he appears passive, but to the wise, he is strategic. He is the storm that doesn't announce itself. He doesn't need to, because when he moves, it's final. And that's the essence of power. Not in constant motion, but in precise motion. Not in shouting, but in deciding when not to speak. Even in ancient samurai philosophy, the concept of ma, the space between movements, was considered just as important as the movements themselves. Silence is ma. It's not the pause between words, it's the space where meaning is born. Observation is a superpower. Let's take it further. Silence isn't just a tool for power, it's the gateway to a deeper power. Observation. You can't truly observe while you're talking. You can't truly understand while you're reacting. Observation requires stillness, and stillness requires discipline. A skilled observer can read a room before stepping into it. They notice micro-expressions, shifts in tone, contradictions in words. They hear what isn't being said. They see the cracks behind the smiles. They sense the patterns in chaos. That's not magic. It's attention. It's a result of not rushing to respond, of not needing to dominate a conversation. The person who speaks first may seem confident, but the person who speaks last, after listening, observing, calculating, often controls the outcome. because they've chosen when and how to enter the battlefield. Applying the silent code to life. So how do we apply this? How do we train ourselves to use silence as power rather than let noise use us? Start small. Set aside just 10 minutes a day. No music, no screens, no words, just you and the quiet. Observe your thoughts. Notice how often your mind wants to fill the space, and then resist. Feel the clarity that comes when you let thoughts pass without reacting. Next time you're in a conversation, try this. Say less. Listen more. Watch body language. Pause before responding. Let people wonder what you're thinking. Let the space do the heavy lifting. And when you do speak, your words will land. They will have weight. Because they come from intention, not impulse. In negotiations, in relationships, in leadership. Silence is not weakness. It's not emptiness. It's presence. It's signal. It's strategy. Final thoughts. The unseen edge. The ancient Taoists said, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." This doesn't mean we stay silent forever. It means we choose when to break the silence and when to let it speak for us. Because sometimes the strongest presence in the room is the one who doesn't need to prove anything. That's the silent code. It's not taught in schools. It's not celebrated on social media. But it's etched into every meaningful moment of history. If you want true influence, master your silence. Sharpen your observation. Move only when it matters. Power doesn't scream. It watches. It waits. Then it whispers.